Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Wellness Unfiltered with Dr. Quinnett. I'm Dr. Quinnett Swink, therapist and women's wellness coach, and I am so glad that you're here. If you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, please go back and listen to it. We talked about summer and how summer does not have to be a setback and how to stay consistent when life looks different. And today I'm going to go deeper into a pattern that I know so many women can relate to. And that's this idea of starting over. Okay? Starting over on Monday, starting over after vacation, starting over after the weekend, starting over after one bad meal or one missed workout or one stressful week. And here's the reality. If you keep starting over with your health goals, here's what I want you to hear. It is not because you don't try hard enough. It is not because you don't care. And it is not because something is wrong with you. The reason that so many women often find themselves having to start over all the time is because the plan that they're trying to follow doesn't actually fit their life. And if the plan doesn't fit your life, then you're not going to be successful on the plan. But the problem is that when you don't fulfill the plan, then you end up blaming yourself. And so today, I want to talk about why this happens and more importantly, what can we do about it? What can we do differently so that we can feel more successful when we start plans, right? So let's get into it. So here's the deal. This whole phrase starting over, it keeps a lot of women stuck. When we say I need to start over, what we're usually saying is I messed up or I failed. And that mindset creates shame. And shame might motivate you for a few days, but it does not create sustainable change. It will not get you to your finish line. Here's the reality. Consistency is never about falling off. Okay. Consistency is about learning how to come back when you have had one hard day and not allowing that one hard day to turn into a whole month. That's the skill. It's learning that consistency doesn't mean we have to be perfect. And I talked about that in episode 1, right? It's learning how to return. It's allowing yourself to say, okay, that did not go the way that I thought it was going to go, but I don't have to spiral and I can make a different choice. That is what sustainable wellness looks like. That is what creating wellness around you in within your life and what's going to work for you. That's what it looks like. And I think it is so important, especially for women that are in their 30s and 40s and beyond, because so many are carrying more things than people even realize. We're managing work, relationships, parenting, parents who are aging, stress, hormonal changes, body changes, sleep changes. We're carrying a whole lot of emotional labor and a whole lot of a high mental load. We're carrying a lot of stuff. Okay. And on top of all of that, we're trying to eat better, move our bodies more, drink enough water. We're trying to manage anxiety, get enough sleep, and somehow not lose ourselves, not lose our freaking minds, right? In the process. It's a lot. We are carrying a lot. So when I hear a woman say, I just can't stay consistent, I don't immediately hear someone that says, I don't care. No, what I hear is, I'm overloaded. I hear a woman who is trying to follow a plan that requires more capacity than she currently has at that moment in her life. And a wellness plan that ignores your actual life is not a wellness plan. You know what it is? It's another source of pressure. And I'm sure that some of you listening are probably nodding right now when I said that, right? A wellness plan that is not looking at what you are actually able to do within your own capacity. If it's not looking at that, then it just feels like pressure. And we might start out with good intentions and really try hard to be consistent, but we will fall off. And one of the reasons that women keep starting over is because we set goals from the beginning from a place of frustration instead of a place of support. So think about this. When you want to make a big health decision, if we're being honest with ourselves, it's often right after we've felt uncomfortable in our bodies. We've had a weekend of eating totally different than what we planned. And I'm not talking about holidays. I'm just talking about a weekend where, it didn't go well. After we've maybe stepped on the scale, after maybe we're feeling bloated, we're feeling tired, disappointed, all of that is emotional, right? And so when we make decisions from that emotional place, the goal becomes I need to change everything. So then you tell yourself, starting Monday, you're going to work out every day, cut out sugar, meal prep everything, drink a gallon of water, go to bed early, do all the things. But remember how I talked about that we're carrying a lot? So when we set ourselves up with this type of mindset, it might feel good for a few days, right? Because it feels that intensity, it's control. And let's be honest, I love having control over things, right? And so it feels like, okay, I'm in control here. But when the plan is way too extreme and when it's disconnected from your real life, your nervous system is going to push back. Your body is going to get tired, your stress increases, and your motivation drops. And then we start to miss things. We miss a workout, we miss a meal. And the reality is, because we built a plan around perfection, then that one missed thing is going to feel like failure. So then what do? We're going to quit and we're going to tell ourselves, I'll just start over again on Monday. And that's the loop. Frustration leads to restriction, which leads to intensity, which leads to exhaustion, then shame, then we quit, then we start over and we repeat. So that's why we have to stop building these wellness plans, these wellness routines from a place of self criticism. We cannot shame ourselves into having a good relationship with our bodies. We cannot punish ourselves into being consistent. And we can't hate ourselves so much that it transforms our health. It doesn't work long term. And another reason why you might continue to start over is because the goals they're too vague. I'm going to be honest. When we say things like, oh, I want to eat better, or I want to feel better, or I want to get back on track, we are setting ourselves up for failure. And if I can be real with you, I did that. I used to just have this vague goal of, oh, I'm going to eat better. Well, what the heck does that mean? I want to feel better. Okay. Again, what does that mean? It's not that the goals themselves are bad. They're just not specific enough to actually guide choices in our daily lives. So here's what I want you to think about. I want you to start thinking in terms of small, measurable, repeatable behaviors. Don't go into it with the mindset of, I need to get healthy. But instead, you can go into it with, I'm going to eat 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast. Okay. Don't think I'm going to work out more, but maybe instead you say, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes after work three times this week. Okay. These are small actions. They're small behaviors, but they build trust. And the trust is what can make consistency feel possible. So let that sit for a minute. The more you create small, actionable habits, that is what's going to build the trust. And the trust is what is actually going to help you to feel like, okay, I can be consistent. This is possible. This is doable. Okay. Another reason that women keep starting over is because we tend to underestimate the role, the impact that stress has on us. When we're stressed, when we're overwhelmed, anxious, sleep deprived, emotionally drained, then our brains are not looking for the best choice. They're not. Our brains are just looking for relief. They want the easiest choice. That's why, if you think about this for a minute, that's why you can know exactly what to do and still not do it. You can know that protein is going to help you feel better. but you're still going to grab whatever is the easiest. You can also know that a walk is going to boost your mood, right? It's going to make you feel better after work, but you can still come in and just collapse on the couch from just exhaustion. You can know that going to bed earlier is going to help you tomorrow, but instead, you might stay up late scrolling because that's the only time that you had for yourself all day. So, those things are not because you lack discipline. It's not about that. What that tells you, or what that should tell you, what it told me is that my nervous system, your nervous system, it needed to find comfort. And this is where I want more women to understand that we have to show up with compassion, but also we need to be honest with ourselves. And here's what I mean by that. Like, compassion says, okay, this makes sense. This pattern makes sense, right? It makes sense that I know I need to eat more protein, but it's just so much easier for me just to grab this. It makes sense. But the honesty part is where we can say, okay, yes, it makes sense, but I need to support myself differently. And if we're being honest, if I'm being honest, we need both. We need to show ourselves compassion, but we also need to be honest. So the question becomes not what is wrong with me, but it's more so what is making this so hard and what would help to make it easier, right? What is going to help me to be able to do some of this stuff in an easier way? And that is what also will create that self trust, because self trust is one of the biggest missing pieces when it comes to supporting your wellness. A lot of women do not trust themselves because they have broken so many promises to themselves over the years. And I was that woman. Okay. I did not trust myself when I was first on my wellness journey because I felt like I was always starting over, so I'm like, I can't trust that I'm going to be able to do this long term. And here's what I want you to know, that the promise, it was unrealistic from the beginning. I set myself up for failure in the beginning. And I wonder if maybe if you've been on this wellness journey for a minute, if maybe that was part of what happened with you. The promises that you made to yourself from the beginning, it was unrealistic. It was unrealistic to say, I'm going to drink a gallon of water. It was unrealistic to say, I'm going to cut out all sugar, right? So here's my question for you. What if you made smaller promises? What if the promise was, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk today, and then you did it? What if the promise was, I'm going to add protein to breakfast, and then you did it? It's a small, measurable, actionable step. And it's something that will allow you to actually do it, and you start to trust yourself again. Okay. It's not through these big, massive changes. It's through small, consistent habits over and over again, small promises that are kept. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with 3 questions that I want you to think about this week. First, where do you keep starting over? Is it with food? Is it with moving your body? Is it with your sleep? Is it with your morning routine? Is it with your relationship, just overall with your body? Where do you feel like you keep starting over? The second question is this: what usually happens right before you quit? Do you get overwhelmed? Did you miss a day and then feel like you failed? Was it too restrictive? And so then you just completely rebelled against it? And the third question: what would it look like if you stopped starting over and simply just returned? Not with shame, not with punishment, not with a dramatic reset, but with one choice that just felt supportive. So that's your work this week. Choose one small promise that you can keep to yourself, not 10, one. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk after you eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Maybe it's breakfast. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's going to bed at 10 o'clock. One small promise that you can keep to yourself. But I want you to keep it simple, and I want you to keep it realistic, and it has to be something that you can repeat, because the reality is you do not need another extreme plan. You need a plan that is going to help you to build trust with yourself. Okay. If this episode felt like I was speaking directly to you, and I hope it did, and you are tired of starting over every Monday, this is exactly the kind of work I do with women. I support them through wellness coaching. We look at the whole picture: nutrition, movement, stress, sleep, mindset. We look at real life patterns that make consistency feel hard. And we create a plan that makes consistency doable. Okay. And you can learn more and schedule a consult at my website, which is swankcounseling.com. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it more than you know. And if this episode resonated with you, please follow the podcast, leave a review, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear this. Send me a message on Instagram at Swank Wellness and let me know what landed for you today. Like what really hit. I read every message and I would love to hear from you. And if there's something that you want me to talk about, be sure to share that with me as well. And before we go, remember the information that I share on this podcast, it is for educational purposes only, and it is not intended to replace medical advice, mental health treatment, or the advice of your healthcare provider. So if you have concerns about your physical or mental health, please make sure you're reaching out to a qualified healthcare professional in your area. Okay. And remember, your body is not working against you, although sometimes I know it can feel that way. It's communicating with you. So I want you to be curious and keep showing up for yourself. I'll see you in the next episode of Wellness Unfiltered with Dr. Quinnett. Until next time, take care.